Stop wasting hours tracking finances manually. Every month, same story. Receipts are everywhere. You forget your expenses and the spreadsheets are messy. So I built an AI agent that does it all automatically. Let me show you. I just sent a receipt photo to my Telegram bot. The AI extracts the amount, category, date, description and saves it directly to Google Sheets. Or I can simply text, I spent 500 on Uber yesterday. It gets logged instantly. Expense amount, date, description, everything. Not only this, it even tracks income. When I type I earned 20,000 from my freelancing today, this time income gets locked with all the details in the same Google Sheet. Everything organized. Date, amount, category, description, everything. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is how the workflow looks like, and now let me show you how this works. Okay, so this is my Telegram. So I'll come here. So now I'll simply upload a receipt here. So I'll click here, I'll click on photo and video. I'll upload the receipt from here. So I already have got a receipt. So I'll click here and I'll select this, and this is it. I'll click on upload, and this is a sample receipt from Big Bazaar. So this is the output we have got. It says expense locked. This is the amount for shopping. This is the description and this is the date. So if I open my Google Sheet, we have got this data here. We have got the date, type, expense, amount, category and description. Okay, so now let us compare this. So if you see, the amount is 1230.74. okay, so here we can see 1230.74 and it was for shopping. Yeah, we can see this is for shopping. And now in description it is mentioned groceries and household items at Big Bazaar. Okay, so these are all grocery and household items, and the date we can see it's 15th of November 2024. okay, so here if you see the date, it is 15th of November 2024. okay, so this is how you can do it. So now let us see how to build it from scratch. So we will open our n8n dashboard. So this is our n8n dashboard. So now I'll click on plus. Now I'll select Telegram here. So after clicking here, we'll select on message. Okay, because we'll be getting message. So now, so I have already connected my Telegram accounts, which is why I can see this. But in your case, you have to do it from scratch if you haven't already. So now I'll click on create new credentials. So now I need access token. Okay, so to get access token, I'll open my Telegram again. So now I'll go to bot father. Okay, so just search here. So now I'll type /new bot. Okay, so after this is what we will get. So it says, all right, a new bot. How are we going to call it? So let us name it AI Finance Tracker 2. Okay, so now it says good. Now let's choose a username for your bot. It must end in bot. Okay, so now let us choose a username. Let us type AI Finance 2026 bot. Okay, now hit on enter. And now we can see it's done. So here we can see we have got our access token. So this is our access token. So we'll just copy this from here. We'll open our workflow and we'll paste this here. Okay, now click on save. Now we can see connection tested successfully. We'll close this. Click on no thanks. So now I'll close this. Okay, so this part is done. I'll click on save. So now I'll have to test it to get a test message here first. Okay, so for this I'll click on execute workflow. I'll come to Telegram here. Okay, so now I'll click here to message the bot. So I'll click here. Now I'll click on start. Okay, so now we can see we have got the result. So if you open this, we can see here the text is /start. Okay, this is what we have given in Telegram, /start. Okay, so now we'll come here again. So the first node is done. So now our input can be in the format of text, or else it could be in the format of image. Okay, so we have to differentiate it. So for this differentiation, we'll be adding if node here. Okay, so I'll click on plus. I'll search for if, and now I'll select this one. And now we can see value 1, value 2. Okay, so we don't have to do anything in value 2. So we'll be clicking on value 1. So now we have to select our message. Okay, so this was our message. I'll drag and drop this here. And now I'll select this. And now string I'll mention exist. Okay, so now I'll close this. So now if there is a text message, then it will come through this node. Okay, but if it is not a text message, if it is an image, it will come through this node. Okay, which is why we have added this node. So now let us send some realistic message through Telegram. Okay, so for this I'll click on save. I'll click on execute. I'll come here and I'll type here, I spent 20 rupees to buy a biscuit today. I'll click on enter. I'll come to my workflow and we can see we have got this result here. So this time it has come through this node. Why? Because it was text. So now if I open this, you can see here I spent 20 rupees to buy a biscuit today. Okay, so it has come through this node. So now we'll be feeding this information to an AI agent so that the AI agent should decide if it is an expense or an income, and whatever the data is, it will calculate everything from this message. Okay, so now I'll click on plus, I'll search for AI agent, and now I'll select this, I'll select define below, and now I have to give prompt user message. Okay, so the user message, so I'll simply select this text here, I'll drag and drop this here. Now I'll click on add option, and here I'll be giving a system message. Okay, this is the important part. So I'll delete this. So I've already made a prompt, so I'll just come to this document, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it there. Okay, so if you want all these prompts in detail, you can simply come to my school community, you can download it from here. Okay, so it's very simple. So I'll come to my workflow and I'll paste it here. So this is what it is. So you can see you are an expense tracking assistant. Extract financial information from your user message. Return only a valid JSON object with this exact fields. Type, expense or income, amount, category, description and date. Okay, so now we have some rules here. Here we have detection rules, then we have category rules, we have date rules, and output only the JSON. Okay, so this is what we have given here. Now I'll click on execute step, and we see we got an error. It says a chat model subnode must be connected and enabled. Okay, so we forgot to add the chat node here, so I'll click here and I'll add OpenAI chat node. Okay, so I'll select this, and now by default it is selected GPT 4.1 mini. I'll keep this for now. I'll close this. Okay, so now I'll open this again and I'll execute it again. Okay, so now let me execute. So now you can see we have got this output, but this output is not in a standard format for us to feed it in Google Sheet. Okay, so for this we'll be adding a code node here so that the data is formatted in a proper way. Okay, so I'll click this, I'll search for code and I'll select this, I'll select code in JavaScript. Okay, I'll delete this. So I'll come to this document, I'll copy this code from here. Okay, I'll come here again, I'll paste it here. So now I'll click on execute step, and we have got the data here. So now this part is done. So now we'll be adding a Google Sheet node here. Why? Because we'll be feeding all this information in Google Sheet to record it. So I've already built a Google Sheet here. Okay, so this is a sample sheet. I'll just delete this. So here you can see the name of the file is expense tracker, and this is sheet 1. Okay, so I'll select the same sheet here. So I'll come to this workflow again. I'll click on plus here. I'll search for Google Sheet. Okay, so I'll select this, I'll select append row in a sheet. So now my account is already connected. So from here in the document section, I'll select my document, it is expense tracker, and from sheet I'll select the sheet from here, it is sheet 1. So now I'll have to map the column manually. Okay, so for the date I'll drag and drop this here, for the type I'll drag and drop this here, and now for the amount, this is the amount, I'll drag it here, and now for category I'll select this and I'll drag and drop it here, and now for the description, this is it. So now I'll simply click on execute step. So after clicking on execute step, my data will come in the Google Sheet. This is the Google Sheet. We have the date here, we have the type which is expense, amount which was 20, category it is food, and description bought biscuit. Okay, so now this part is done. I'll come to my workflow here. So now after updating everything in Google Sheet, I'll be sending a reply to the Telegram bot. Okay, so I'll click on plus here, I'll search for Telegram. Okay, I'll select this. Now from here I'll select send a message. Okay, so send text message, this one. Okay, so now my account is already connected, so I'll not do it again. So resource will be message, operation will be send message, chat ID. So for chat ID I'll select this, and now this is the chat ID. I'll drag and drop this here, and now for the text. Okay, so I've already made a sample message. I'll just copy it from this document. So I'll come here, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it here. Okay, so this is the sample message. So you can see this is how the output will look like. Expense locked, 20 rupees for food, bought biscuit. This is the date here. Okay, so now I'll close this and I'll click on execute step, and see we have got the response. So we can see expense locked, 20 rupees for food, bought biscuit, and this is the date. Okay, so now we can see this message was sent automatically with n8n. So I don't want this line, so for this I'll have to delete this line. So I'll come here again. So here I'll come down below, I'll select add field, I'll select append n8n attribution, I'll toggle this off, and now I'll hit on execute step again. So this time you will not see that line. Okay, so now we'll simply see the actual message. We will not see this unnecessary line. Okay, so now this part is done for the text part. Now we'll do it for the image part. So if we send any screenshot of any bill, it will automatically fetch the text from there. So for this, I'll come to this workflow again. I'll close this. Now I'll be doing it for image. Okay, so I've already got a sample bill. This is how it looks, so you can check it. So this is how the sample bill looks like. So I'll upload the same image now. Okay, so I'll close this. So I'll click on execute workflow. I'll come to Telegram here. So I'll select the image. Okay, so I'll select this. I'll click on send. Okay, so now I'll come to my workflow again and we can see. So this time it was not a text. For this reason, it has come through this node. Okay, so now I have got this image file. So the next step for me will be to download this image, whatever I have got it. Okay, so for this, I'll be adding a Telegram node again. So select Telegram, and from here, I'll have to select get a file. So this is what we'll get. So our account is already connected. Resource will be file, operation will be get. So file ID. Okay, I have to select the file ID. Come down on the left hand side. So this is the file ID we can see. We'll simply drag and drop this here. Okay, so now I'll click on execute step. And yes, we can see we have got the file here. If I click on view, we can see. So this is the receipt that we have uploaded. We can see this clearly. Okay, so I'll click on back to list and now I'll close this now. So now we have got the image. Okay, so the next step for us will be to extract all the text that is written in this image. So for this, I'll be adding Mistral AI. Even you can use OpenAI, but for now I'm using Mistral because Mistral has one of the most powerful text extractor. Okay, so for this reason, I'm selecting Mistral. Okay, so this is it, Mistral AI. And now I'll select extract text. Okay, so now this is what you will see. Now I have already connected my Mistral account with n8n, but for your case, if you haven't connected it, you have to do it. Okay, for this, just click here and click on create new credential. Okay, and then you have to enter the API key. So where you will get the API key, just come to Google, search for Mistral API and select this option, login Mistral AI. So I've already got an account, so this is what I will see. So in your case, you will have to sign up and you will have to add the billing details. After that, on the left hand side, I can see API keys. Okay, so now click on create new API key, and here you have to mention any name for the project, and then you can select any date if you want. This is optional, and then you have to hit on create new key. So after that, you will get the API key. Just copy this and then you can come here and paste it here. Okay, then click on save. But for my case, I have already got it connected, so I'm not doing it again. I'll close this for now. Okay, so now the resource will be document, operation will be extract text, model will be Mistral OCR latest, document type will be image here, and then input type will be binary data, input binary field will be data. Okay, ensure that this name and this name has to match together. Okay, so now I'll click on execute step. So now you can see it has extracted all the text that was inside the image. Okay, so now we'll have to feed this information to AI agent so that it figures out all the important key pointers from there. So now we'll come here, we'll add AI agent, we'll search for AI agent, we'll select this, and now here we'll select define below. So here prompt user message, we'll simply drag this because this was the output from there. So we've got the message here. So now we'll be adding a system message. We'll select this and now we'll click on expression. We'll make it big. We'll delete this. So we have already got a system message for this. I'll come to this document. I'll copy this whole thing. So if you want all these prompts, so you can come to my community and you can go to the classroom and you will find all these documents here. Okay, so now I'll come to this workflow. I'll just paste it here. So this is my system message. So here I have mentioned you are an expense tracking assistant, extract financial information from receipt or text messages. So this is what I have given. Now I'll close this. So now I'll be adding a chat model here. I'll select OpenAI chat model and I've selected GPT 4.1 mini by default, and I'll close this. I'll now open this again. I'll click on execute step, and now you will see, yes, we have got the key information here, but we have one problem. This data is not structured in a proper way. So to do this, we'll have to add a code node here again. Okay, but if you remember from our previous case for the text part, we have already added a code node here. Okay, so this is the same thing. So either we can copy paste this here again, but instead of copying and pasting, we'll add a merge node. So I'll select this. I'll search for merge. Okay, I'll select this. Now here mode will be append, number of inputs will be 2. Okay, so now close this. Okay, so I'll just delete this connection. So I'll bring this here. So now I'll be disconnecting this. I'll delete this line. So now let me rearrange it again. So I'll just bring this here. I'll bring this here. I'll bring this here. Okay, so now I'll connect this one here, and then for this node I'll be connecting here. Okay, Okay, so we got it. So we'll bring this here now. So now we'll simply join this. So now I have connected this. I'll click on save, and now let me upload the same image again. Okay, so I'll click on execute step. I'll come to Telegram here. I'll upload the same image again. I'll select photo and video. I'll select this image. I'll click on enter send. Okay, so I'll come to this workflow again. Now we see it is coming through this node, and then it is coming and it is saving in Google Sheet, and now it has sent me a reply. We can see expense locked. This is the amount, groceries and household items for Big Bazaar, from Big Bazaar, and now we have seen the date here. And now if we open our Google Sheet, we can see we have the data here. We have got the date, expense, amount, category and description. Okay, so this is done for us. Now we'll publish this, and now this is active now. So I'll open Telegram. Now you can see the magic. Let me write here, I got 3000 rupees from freelancing today. Okay, I'll hit on enter. Now you'll see the magic. You can see this time I've got a response. This time it is income. This time it is not expense. Okay, because I have got this money from freelancing. So it says income locked, 3000 freelance income received, and this is the date. Okay, so it will automatically take today's date. So today is 21st of December, so it has taken 21st of December. So if I open my sheet, we can see 21st of December, income, amount, category, description. Okay, so now let us try a different example. So I have got another receipt here. So this is the receipt. You can see this is from Punjabi Dhaba. Okay, so the amount was 367.50. So this time I'll upload this and let us see how this goes. Okay, so I'll come here in Telegram. So I'll just open this file. I'll click on enter, and now I'll click on send, and now let us wait for the result. Boom, you see we have got a response. It says expense locked, amount is 367.5. it was food, and it is chicken curry at Punjabi Dhaba, and this is the date. So we can see here it was chicken curry 350 rupees, and it was Punjabi Dhaba. And now let us check our sheet. We can see the date, we can see the expense, we can see the amount, category was food, and description chicken curry at Punjabi Dhaba. Okay, so from now on you don't have to waste time by manually entering all this data to track your expense. Simply just send the receipt to your Telegram, or you can text in Telegram about your expense or income, and it can track everything automatically. Okay, so if you found this helpful, put a thumbs up, and if you want more future AI automation videos, you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.